What's up, YouTube boxing community? It's your boy, Mr. Universal Sports, coming from that undisclosed location in the California IA. You know how we do it. The first fight I'm going to cover tonight is going to be a busy night of boxing. This is the November to remember. A lot of big fights. Zach Judah, Lucas Mathies, Juan Manuel Lopez versus some fighter I can't think about right now. I know you guys are going to make some comments on the page, you know, saying, know your boxing, man. They're going to get some guy named Rafael Marquez. That Sergio Martinez, my wife's favorite fighter, versus Paul the Punisher Williams. That's going to be a great rematch. And Michael Caceres in another fight, I think he's coming in December. Michael Caceres versus Juan Manuel Marquez. So this is going to be a great winter of boxing to remember. First fight I'm going to cover tonight is that Robert Guerrero versus Vicente Escobedo fight. And this fight took place at 135 pounds for the WBO Intercontinental title. One of those stupid alphabet belts they made up, like the IBO belt and the WBC toilet bowl belt. You know, I hate these stupid belts. This should be one belt, one champ, but you know, that's another video I'm gonna cover. You know how we do it. This took place between good. This fight took place at 135 pounds between great contenders. On a personal note, Robert Guerrero is one of my favorite fighters because he's one of those guys that seems that he'll put the personal note on the past, and he'll take care of his family first before he takes care of boxing. That's what I like about him. He took care, instead of like going for the big money and the six-figure pay, he went to take care of his wife, who's struggling with cancer right now. But his wife is recovering. His wife seems to recover, and his wife looks fantastic. Her hair's growing back, and I'm glad that Casey Guerrero is recovering from her cancer. Now back to the news of boxing. Here's what I thought about this fight. I scored this fight 97-90. Robert Guerrero won, and I had 3 official knockdowns on my scorecard. I don't care what them judges said. They saw 2 scorecards. On the scorecards, they scored the fight 2 knockdowns. I scored 3. If a fighter hits a fight, if one of the fighters causes a knockdown with a punch, it's a knockdown. It's plain and simple. I don't care. I tell you why Robert Guerrero won this fight. He used his fast hands. He threw a lot of good combinations, particularly to the body head. He worked the body head combination. And that always works. Kill the body, work the head. That always works. Also, he was working hard tonight. Obviously, he was making a statement. In the last fight against Joel Casamoyar, you know, he built up a big lead and he coasted. He did a Lakers move. You know, being a Lakers fan pisses me off. He did a Lakers move. He made a little big lead, 4 or 5 round lead, and he coasted. You know, got a little complacent, and this time he did this in this fight. This is what I don't like about Robert Guerrero. He seems to get bored in his fights. Like one of my boys, Julian Foster, made a point in his video. Shout out to my boy Julian. What's up, Julian? How you doing? He got a little bored and he lost a couple of rounds. That can cost him. It cost De La Hoya at time. And when he fought Trinidad, when he's like, okay, I built a 7-round lead. Now I'm gonna back up and, you know, cruise it up. And the judge said, oh no, you didn't. And he scored and then gave the fight to Trinidad. That can happen to Guerrero if he fought against a Marquez or Michael Caceres, which is the big fights that he's hoping for. Like I said, he has good power, and Robert Guerrero has good combinations and good speed, and he'd be a good access to a 135-pound division. But the fight I really want to see, instead of him versus Marquez or against Caceres, how about him and Brandon Rios? Brandon Rios is a good young fighter with big heart, and that's the one fight I would like to see. Robert Guerrero versus Brandon Rios before I like to see him versus a Marquez fight. Now here's my reasons why Escobedo lost. He didn't use his height. And this is a big thing with me. You got to use your height and your reach. He didn't use that. And another thing too, and I noticed that he's not a natural 135 pounder. He's not a natural lightweight. He's a junior lightweight. And I see it many times in a fight where Guerrero would just deliberately let Escobedo hit him because the punches wasn't affecting him. And I really, once Guerrero realized that punches wasn't affecting him, I was like, okay, forget this. I can take this punch. He won't hurt me. He's like a girl anyway. Bat. Oh well. Bat. Knocked him down. That happens sometimes. I think Escobedo is a natural 130 pounder, and I think he should fight. His next fight should take place at 130 pounds. I mean, where he could be the champion there with his natural height and his natural strength. He could have real advantage at 135 pounds. Also, he does like I like what Jim Lampley and Roy Jones brought up in the fight. He doesn't bob and weave. When he bobs and weave, he kind of stops his action. He needs to. If he bobs and weaves, he's got to throw a punch. So he has to learn to be busier. And another thing with both fighters is, particularly with Guerrero, if Guerrero's going to take that next step to be an elite level fighter, he has to have a good defense. A good offense comes with a good defense. And Guerrero needs to work on his defense a little bit. Once again, he let another fighter come back in the fight. And in this particular fight, I get Escobedo the last 2 rounds of the fight. Harold Leatherman scored the fight. Gave the last 3 rounds to Vicente Escobedo. Guerrero needs to learn to be a finisher if he wants to be an elite level fighter, to fight the guys like Marquez, he needs Casillas, and Ali Funaka. He needs to learn to be a better finisher and stay on task for all 10 to 12 rounds of the fight. But Guerrero did enough to win this fight. He virtually outclassed Vicente Escobedo, did enough to win the fight, and I think he should be in line to get the big fights at 135 pounds. Alright then, this is Mr. Universal Sports. I'm going to do that Zab Judah Lucas Mite's fight next. Alright then, holla at your boy. Later.